Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
It's a Thursday episode, and you know what that means? It's the Family Feud episode. Is there an update on
the tomfoolery on the fuckery?
Is there an update? Yeah, there was some fuckery abound last week that we never addressed in the following episodes, but now that it's a Family Feud episode, I feel like we should address it, Jayhay.
Sure, let's do it right off the top.
Yeah,
so
right off rip.
The situation that happened is that on I think it was question number 3 or number 4, Gerrit and Dallas provided the same response, which was 5. I went back and reviewed the tape. That is indeed what happened. So I kicked it up to our appeals division, and actually it reached the highest level of the appeals process. So in that sense, this resolution is final. But the resolution is that you guys get an apology from me. I am sorry about the confusion and the error, but you still lose. Still counts as a loss.
Yeah, that's
No, unfortunately. Yeah, because there was you guys can both get credit for answering 5, which was the number 1 answer. And you guys still fell like 45 points short of winning.
It's all about the
match,
trajectory.
so
it's all about the trajectory you set us on,
Well, I'm giving you maximum trajectory. It's not even me. It's like I didn't even have anything to do with the resolution. So I am sorry about the mix-up. We will work to make sure that it does not happen again. But unfortunately, on the tally, kind of on the record books, it still goes down as an L. So, Jared, do you have any thoughts?
It is the butterfly effect where, I think if it was conducted fairly and properly, you don't know what like the vibes could have been moving forward.
Right.
Like maybe my brain searches for a different answer if I felt or Dallas felt better moving forward. I'm not going to make excuses. What I will say though on the subject is last week we came in and Jake immediately was like, you guys are fucked. Came in this week and there was no comment. So I don't know whether to read into that or not. Like, I feel like if we were up against it this week, something would have been said just based on precedent. So I'm looking forward to redeeming ourselves this week.
Yeah. I mean, so 2 things. I'm excited that you're looking forward. And I'm excited about this episode of Family Feud because I do think it's a little bit less obnoxiously difficult in terms of results. The other thing that I will say though, so it was question number 2 that was the question and error. As it turns out, you guys screwed yourselves on question number 1 and thus had no path to winning.
The voters fucked us. Even the listeners.
That's fine.
Yeah,
but
the listeners.
The butterfly effect is deflated by the fact that it was question 1 that doomed you.
Still there.
When you guys you guys named a movie that wasn't even on the list, right? Didn't
Dallas
say for like love of the game or something like that?
Yeah, but like, listen, Jayhay, come on. For the love of the game may not have been the number 1 answer, but it definitely should have gotten some votes if Fever Pitch and Moneyball got votes for the best baseball movie of all time.
For love of the game, for love of the game, getting some votes is.
I said
it needed
Field
like
of Dreams,
votes.
And it was like the number 7 answer. Like, what are we doing?
Field of Dreams was number 4.
Yeah,
I have the list up here now. No, that's not crazy. That's not crazy.
Field of Dreams is
where
like
do the bench warmers come in? It's tired.
That got 1 vote.
There you go. That is the fucking point right there. The bench warmers received a vote when for love of the game. Like, just stop.
Yeah. Did the Natural get a vote?
The Natural did get 4 votes.
Okay. All right. I'm less mad, but it's still preposterous. I'm
not gonna. A League of Their Own also got votes. Yeah.
I'm not gonna shout down the Baseball is Dead Discord voters. They're doing their best. They're just not doing a good job.
I think they're doing a tremendous job. I think Jake's with me on that.
How long did it take, Jake? How long did this survey take to fill out?
It's never more than 3 minutes anymore.
Okay.
We dropped it at a different time this week too, did we not, Jake, relative to the last couple?
Yeah, hit them with like a surprise 1 p.m. drop.
Oh, wow.
People are
done.
People believe that there's like a conspiratorial effort behind the dropping of the questions to see if they can get it to 4 minutes. Are they going to be able to drop it at a time where nobody's aware?
Dude, I'm honestly pretty confident that if we dropped it at like 3:30 a.m.,
That's what I was going to say. I need a 2:37
only take a
a.m.
matter
drop.
of minutes. Yeah. Well, there's like some workflow things that need to happen once we get the answers that, I'm not trying to inconvenience Corey or something like that. So, or Jake for that matter. But yeah, I think we could drop it at pretty much any time and it would get filled up lickety split.
Oh, lickety split. I like that saying.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I'm
Family
folksy,
Feud.
you know that.
Coming up in probably a 30-ish minutes because we've only got Dallas until noon today. The A's are playing who?
The Royales with cheese. Oh, you mean yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Getting Lugo'd today.
That's well, you know,
Alex
what?
Wood in the
It's
bump today.
the series goes to the A's, so it's it's whatever.
That's true. Hey, tip of the cap.
You know what?
2 out of
Dallas,
3 from the Royals. Thanks for coming.
You infected that clubhouse because speaking of Alex Wood,
With what?
that my BP video, who did I get a text from? Alex Wood.
Oh, he told me.
Classic Woody.
He told me too.
Yeah, and I did what anyone else would do, and I took it in stride and with class and dignity, and I just texted him back the video of all my fucking bombs that I hit that didn't get posted by MLB Network. I was like, here, if you want like the real video, here's the real video. I was like, I'm not going to post it because I don't need that validation from the public. But because you, Alex Wood, have seemingly requested it, here it is. So I sent it to him, but I didn't post it. I have it, but I didn't post it.
Can I ask you a question
Please.
about the video that was posted versus the video that was not?
Mhm.
Do you think, speaking of conspiracies, do you think there's a conspiracy by somebody at MLB Network to not put out all of your best home runs? Because their editing staff has to be dozens of people.
It's one. Their social media person is one person, and he introduced himself to me and said, "Hey, I'm a huge Yankee fan. Loved all your stuff with Hubs in 2018. Did a great job. I mean, very nice kid. Enjoyed working with him. But the individual who was tasked with being the social media manager of the day introduced himself to me as a Yankee fan. So you can take from that what you would like."
Okay. So,
do you know what
you
kind
have
of
the other swings? It's good you have the homer swings.
Do you know what kind of work
kind
would
of
go into
posterity.
editing that video?
It's literally just, it's not even an edit. It was just like there were 30 swings and 3 of them got posted and 2 of them are ground balls. Like there were probably 10 fucking laser beams. And I have the video. You know, I'm not gonna give it to Dallas. I'm gonna text it right now to Jayhay, and you tell me if I'm making anything up. I'm gonna text it right now to Jayhay.
10 fucking laser beams, 10 absolute rockets. Are you kidding me?
That's fine.
They
you know what was
called over to the
interesting?
stadium and told them, you gotta turn the volume down. I don't know what you guys are doing over there, but it's a lot of loud noise over there.
After I sent the video to Alex Wood, no response. No response.
I don't know that Woody even saw it.
That's what happens when you put it out there and you're like, oh man, like what an embarrassment. And then you're like, oh wow, it's actually a fucking laser show. I got nothing. Sorry.
Oh,
All right, just came through. I'm going to take a look here.
Yeah, live reaction.
Yeah.
So this is the full. This is the full video. This isn't a super. Is this a super cut of all your best or the?
This is a super cut of all my best. Yeah.
Okay.
I just said that, Dallas. I said
I
I
wanna
took
make
30
sure. I wanna
swings
make
and
sure.
there were like
That's
10
all.
ropes. Yeah. Go ahead.
There are some well struck baseballs in that that rip. Yeah, I can't lie. I don't think I was thinking how far I'm capable of hitting a baseball in a scenario like that, and I think these might be double the length of what I'm capable of hitting.
Thank you. And again, that's me having class, not posting it because I'm not insecure. People can say what they want on the internet. They can have their opinions. I want them to think that I can't hit going into this home run derby.
I think you're smart enough to not post a ball that 14 hops its way to the outfield and probably never reaches the wall. I don't know.
These were like wall one hoppers. These were gap shot. These were big league doubles, basically. These were big league doubles. They were.
You've never hit a ball that is one hop to big league outfield. You know that. I know that.
Did it 2 days ago? 2 days ago.
You know who else has been turning it up on social media? I feel like since the last podcast and we talked a little bit about the Derby is Mr. Jeffers.
Yeah.
I think I saw a Josh Hamilton post.
Yep.
Some rising confidence in his corner as well, it feels like.
He's making some noise because now he knows that it's basically going to be a face reveal for him. He was on the podcast because he's a Rangers fan. He was on the podcast during the playoff run. I believe after they won the World Series, we had him on. But yeah, he is stepping up his social media game because he's like, man, like, you know, I'm going to make some noise on the BID social and then people are going to see what I can do in this home run derby. So
potential breakout moment for him. I haven't heard as much. What's Tyler's confidence level?
He never has high confidence with anything.
Oh, okay.
Great place to be.
So he's like the Eeyore of the Derby.
He's less Eeyore, more like, how would you describe him, Jake? Like he's just self-aware. He's upbeat and free-spirited, and otherwise he has confidence. He has confidence where he shouldn't, and he has no confidence where he should.
Tyler, he may give off suicidal donkey vibes, but inside he's really a flower child.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Dark horse. That's what I'm
Dark
hearing.
horse. The MLB season is in full swing, and Underdog Fantasy wants to make it a lot more interesting. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Playing their pick'em game is as simple as selecting higher or lower on player stats, strikeouts, total bases, home runs, and so much more. Make entries of all baseball, or you can mix and match across your other favorite sports. You can win up to 100 times your money, and it's a ton of fun. We haven't completely ironed out the details, but the word on the street is that you will be able to get in on some action with the Underdog Fantasy app in regards to the Home Run Derby. Assuming that you're in one of the states that we are in, there are 30 plus, including California, Texas, and our favorite state, Canada. Make sure you sign up with the promo code Jared, that is Jared, to get up to $250 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code Jared. Last night, Gerrit Cole made his return. Looking a little fat, I must say. The no beard rule does him no favors. I counted 3 chins. There was there was one point in the game last night where there was a random stoppage and everyone was like, did a fan run on the field? Like, what happened? I believe it was a Twinkie break. Gerrit Cole was just like, Twinkie time. Like he does that. He'll throw up the T, and that means Twinkie time. Otherwise, it was a great baseball game. A lot of theater, a lot of drama. We had guys getting hit again. I mean, we talked about this on Section 10 last night. The reaction from Yankee fans after Aaron Judge got hit, which was completely accidental in my opinion. I mean, they wanted the Orioles like firing squad. They wanted them killed. It was insane. I don't think that it was on purpose, and the X-rays were negative. Like, I think if he had to miss a significant amount of time, then it's like, all right, yeah, like eye for an eye, whatever, that's baseball. But he wanted to play. Booney sat him, but he wanted to play, felt good enough to play. But yet Yankee fans, they were out for blood with the Baltimore Orioles. We did see 2 hit batsmen. I believe the Gunnar Henderson one felt intentional. There was another one. Was it Colton Cowser that got hit? That one felt accidental, but I think Gunnar was probably intentional. Either way, a lot of drama. Cole return looked good. Like from a baseball standpoint, physically not so much. But you had a great baseball game between the 2 top dogs in the American League East, and boy, would that be a great playoff series.
Yeah, it's just nice to get that guy back. That's what everybody in Yankee land wants, is to see that Gerrit Cole is back. Gerrit Cole is healthy. Gerrit Cole is inserted into a rotation that has been pitching its ass off. So what more would you want to see, or what could be better, I guess, for the Yankees at this point in time than getting what they got last night, seeing what they saw last night. And now you get to kind of zoom out and look down the line and think to yourself, feel like we got a pretty good shot here. Feel like things are starting to round out.
Jayhay? I'm with you on the postseason series. I could do without all the hit batsmen. It's not really for me. I mean, I understand that pitching inside is a thing. So I'm not saying that every one of those is intentional or can be totally avoided, but to your point, like the talent on these teams is so undeniable, and you have the classic case of the New York Yankees that are, driven and powered by star power, as the best versions of the Yankees throughout the entire history of the franchise always have been. And you have the Orioles, the contrast there obviously being the young position players, the young stars who are not at this point massive contract type of guys. So I don't think there's a better possible AL postseason matchup. I know we talked about World Series matchups, and the Yankees and Orioles and Dodgers are obvious, and Phillies are obviously at the top of those lists. But for me, an ALCS between these two teams would be as good as any World Series potentially matchup could be as well, because you get all of the same stuff that you would get in any of those dream World Series matchups. There hasn't been a lot of seasons where both of these teams have been good at the same time in our lifetimes. But in the cases where they have been, it gets good between these two teams, and I want to see more of that. Throw it back to the Mussina era Orioles before he bounced for the Yankees. I think that would be very cool.
I think at some point, maybe now is not the right time. Maybe post deadline, because I think that these are going to be two teams that are active at the trade deadline. I know that there's not going to be a ton out there. There's not a lot of sellers or whatever, but I think that they will at least attempt to be aggressive. It would be interesting to kind of go down like position by position, just kind of doing a tail of the tape, Orioles versus Yankees, because I'm not sure when they play each other again, but it would seem as though there will be some sort of fireworks. Like it's always, I forget, I wish I could attribute the take to who had it, but I saw it on Twitter. Someone said, like, there's always bad blood between the Yankees and the next best team in the division that year. Like when it was the Rays, they fought the Rays. When it was the Jays, it was Manoah and Cole. Now it's the Orioles and the Red Sox. Like they had the brawl. Like they always have this problem with the next best team in the division that year when they're either first or second. Now, obviously, like last year with their 82 and 80, it didn't make a difference. But
is it the team, or is it the Yankees? Really, I don't want to say every year, but is it the Yankees acknowledging, hey, there's someone knocking at the door? There's someone knocking at the door. This has been comfortable.
It's not a blanket
now,
answer. It's not a blanket answer, because I think like in the past, like with Toronto, like that was Toronto being the aggressor. Like they were like throwing at Judge and shit. I mean, the Yankees just like rub people the wrong way. I feel like they're just not like a likable team if you're not a Yankee fan.
It's the New York Yankees. None of the other 29 teams, if you play for them, are supposed to like the Yankees and what they stand for, right? You can maybe hope to be paid by them someday, but you're not supposed to be like respecting what they do or whatever on the, like, I don't know. Like
Jay, there's a vibe.
To me, it is the other team. It's the other teams reacting to what the Yankees are and stand for and represent being in their way for accomplishing. And that's why, to Jared's point, or whoever made the point originally, you have each recurring unit of team that steps forward and is the next big thing. They get this happens.
Well, they see what I think happens is they see what the Yankees are all about. And what I mean by that is the Yankees, and it, like organizationally from top to bottom, it feels like they are upset that they have to play you and your team. You know what I mean? Like, all right, let them in, show them where the visitors clubhouse is, and, throw a fucking bag of dog food and a gallon of water in there, and we'll check on them in 3 days. And if they're all right, great. We'll tell them where the airport is and they can go on about their business. It's almost, it feels like it's an inconvenience that the Yankees have to play baseball against other teams. And when other teams start to mount, I don't want to call it a comeback, but when other teams start to mount a level of pushback, a level of competition where there's a threat to the throne, that's when they're like, hey, like we're on the same field here. But the Yankees, they don't really ever give you that feeling, right? They don't ever want you to feel like you're on the same field as them. They don't ever want you to feel like you belong in the same room as them. And so I think as a player, when you start to see that happen and you start to feel that happen, and you know that you and your boys can kick some dust, well, we're going to have something to say about this. So no longer are you just going to be thrown inside or drilling one of our guys and nothing's going to be done about it. Nuh-uh. Fuck you. We're coming. I love that. That's what I love.
Yeah, I don't blame the other 4 teams for behaving this way towards the Yankees at times. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad. In fact, I think it's an awesome thing. It's great for the sport when this dynamic exists between a great Yankees team and an upstart or somehow, secondary, ascending other team in the division.
It's why the UFC is popular. Like, I don't want to watch a baseball game between 2 of the best teams in the league where everyone is buddy and smiling out there and having a good time. Like, there's a big fight feel when 2 teams genuinely don't like each other. When there's drama and tension, that is captivating to watch. It's why when you watch 2 men or women enter a cage to fight each other, they're trying to fucking destroy each other's bodies. Like, that's why people tune in to watch these fights. And there is that extra, it's palpable. It looms over the game when you have 2 teams. You're like, oh man, like someone like Judge got fucking hit last night. Fans are really pissed. And they put the cameras on the dugout and everyone's on the top step and they're just eyeing the other side and they're eyeing what's on the field. And you can hear their fucking thoughts. Like, that is captivating to me.
Here's the other layer to this, and this is why it doesn't happen all across the game. And I think we understand the impact that free agency has had on the idea of clubs, right? Like, that's why they're referred to as a club. Because if we remember baseball, like, you were a lifer. Like, you played for this team. You were born here. You played for this team. You played for the barnstorming teams in that area. And if you got lucky, you grew up and you became a part of this team, this
that's
club.
That's why when I was a kid, like a young kid, they were like, yeah, it's the Boston Red Sox club. And I was like, well, I can't wait to join.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it's like, oh, it's the Boston Red Sox club. And I'm like, oh, like, so I can just join this shit. Like, this is sick.
But like the idea of, so I'm getting ready to celebrate, or I'm getting ready to be allowed to celebrate, I should say, our championship teams, 72, 73, 74 World Series championship teams. And they're going to come through. I'm going to get and sit down and talk to all these guys who I've been able to become friends with now over the years. And that's really cool to me. That's really special to me because I get to have a lot of the conversations that we're kind of having right now about shit like this. And we're talking about a team who, when they got their manager in, the first year manager, and he was trying to tell them how they were going to play baseball, they were like, sorry, bro. That's actually not how it goes. We run the fucking show here. This is our club, and we play baseball a certain way here. So they actually, the players, Jared, had their own set of signs. So whatever you're getting from the manager, go ahead and fucking ignore that. Okay? You look to the captain, and you look over here, and we're going to tell you what to do. And that went on for about a week. And then the manager realized, you know what? All right. Message received. I got it. This is your club, and I'm joining this club, and this is how we're going to do it. Let's go win a fucking chip. That's why this feels the way it does when it happens. And when you look at the Yankees and who they've got signed up for the next X amount of years, and you look at the Orioles and the potential to have that roster together, regardless of what you're hearing from ownership, for an extended period of time, now you can start to get excited about what that bad blood might taste like and how long that bad blood might boil. Because now you've got 2 groups entrenched in each other who will see each other every year. And you're going to have 4 or 5 guys on each side go, you know what? Fuck them dudes. That's how this starts. And that's how it grows, right? Fuck them dudes. We got our guys who are lined up for 7 to 10 years a pop, each one of these superstars against their 7 to 10. Let's go. 2 clubs getting after it.
I love that shit. It's a great perspective, Dallas. Thank you for sharing. that especially now that you're going to be celebrating the anniversary of a championship, just like the Royals this year.
Yeah, it was cool. Got to see the Royals celebrate their fucking championship. Their AL as awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. I know we need to get to Family Feud in a second, but Dallas, you did want to hit on MLB will be using the ABS challenge system in AAA starting on June 25th. That is 5 days from now.
Yeah.
It's coming quick. And I think Rob Manfred, I believe, has addressed the availability of the ABS in Major League Baseball. Like, there's no way it could happen this year. It's at the earliest next year, not at the start either.
Yes. So we're still a year away. We'll go through a little quick rundown of what we've got going on. Still a year away, as you just highlighted. June 25th, all AAA levels will use the ABS challenge system. ABS, automatic ball strike. So the challenge system is just for the pitcher or the hitter to challenge the call. They've got about a 2-second window to do so, and that's to avoid looking into the manager, looking at somebody, hey, should I? Yeah, you should. You don't get to do that. It's strictly pitcher, hitter, capable. The International League will experiment with 2 challenges per game. Now, the first half was used with a full ABS. The first half used a full ABS system on Tuesdays through Thursdays. So imagine this. You show up to the ballpark, and from Tuesday to Thursday, you're playing games where the entire automatic ball strike system is in play. And then come Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the only thing you get to do is challenge pitches. So the automatic balls and strikes are no longer automatic balls and strikes. But if you get a pitch that you feel like you got fucked on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, that's when you get to challenge. Just Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All right? So Tuesday through Thursday, fucking wear it. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you get your challenge. All right? And they kind of polled some folks and what they thought about this. 89% of fans believe the optimal number of challenges per game is about 6. But almost 40% of AAA games had more than 6. And it should be understood that in all cases, should you win the challenge, you retain your challenge. So that doesn't get burned, right? Where my issue comes to surface here is, do we understand what we are doing to our athletes? You are giving them in the minor leagues a defined strike zone to get used to hone their eyesight on, and to train themselves. I will not go outside of this. Why? Because there's a system in play that rewards my discipline. So I don't need to bitch about this stuff. Like, we're beyond that. If I feel like I got screwed, tap of the head, we go to Hawkeye, that video pops up on the screen behind us, we all have our answer, and we move right on to the next pitch. That quickly. And I have talked to a ungodly amount of guys who have spent time in the minor leagues, who are coming up to the big leagues, who are spending time back and forth between these levels. So could you imagine, as a hitter, spending time at one level and having the opportunity to really exercise and utilize and leverage your plate discipline, your ability to separate balls from strikes, which probably separates you from your contemporaries? But now you get to the big leagues, the level where it's most important, where you'd really love to leverage your plate discipline, and you have no tools to do so. You get no help, sir. No help. There's no automatic ball strike system in play to help define the strike zone for you. The strike zone that you have defined and that the league has defined for you in the lower levels has now gone completely away, and you are quite literally at the mercy of the umpiring staff, which is where we've been since we've been playing this game. But I think about player development-wise, what sort of bind you are putting these players in. And then I think about, how are you assessing these guys? Because Jayhay, Gerrit and I are talking about, and, tongue in cheek, but like the mentality of, you say the same answer and you don't get the right feedback, and it's like, oh, well, fuck. All right, panic mode. Well, what happens as a player when you start to see these things, and you might be a fringe guy? It's like, well, do I have to start expanding my strike zone in AAA so that I can hit more balls, so I can put more balls in play, try to hit more balls harder because my discipline's paying off? But we all know that when I get to the big leagues and I get fucked, nobody's going to care about that. Like, this is just such a tough spot for these guys.
Yeah, it's a great point, and not something that I had considered at all prior to this podcast. It also, you would think, would make evaluation more difficult.
I've been saying this shit for years, Jayhay, for this reason.
From both a front office and a an on-field coaching standpoint as well. It's like, you're seeing a guy with a particular stat line in AAA, and we have an idea currently of how that might translate to the major leagues based on current projection systems. And I'm sure teams internally have a much better idea than even the best public systems. But such a conundrum like you're describing would seemingly throw a huge wrench into that for a not insignificant percentage of players that would be in a position to be called up.
It's just, I think across the board, like, what is this like? Is this like, like in the NBA and college basketball, the 3-point line is different. And the only thing separating, and correct me if I'm wrong, because if I'm just like reducing a game's rule book, please, I do not mean to do so intentionally, but isn't that one of the only things that separates the WNBA from the NBA is the 3-point line? I'm sure there's some
there are other things. To me, like the analogy to the NBA 3-point line is similar, although admittedly imperfect, like you're saying, to the idea that the strike zone itself is different. To me, it doesn't even begin to address the idea that you have an appeal system or a safety net behind you that will ultimately reward you for the plate discipline you're talking about. That's like a different dimension of problem that exists when you're talking about, like, will a guy translate from shooting from the college 3-point line to the NBA 3-point line? That's also a challenge, but not necessarily. It's more of a one-to-one thing. You know what I mean? Or a one-dimensional change. Yeah,
because if you're telling me that we have this defined zone that I can operate in, and it's quite literally defined, that means it's defined for everybody. Everybody has the opportunity to do this, and the individual behind the plate is now, to an extent, a non-factor. But if they're egregiously missing calls and I have to continue to use my challenges, well, that becomes a grind, right? And that's where the limited amount of challenges starts to come into play. Because what if you've got a guy back there who was just absolutely dog shit? And we were watching calls in the big leagues, right? Teams get 10, 12, 14 calls given to them. 10, 12, 14 calls taken away from them that go against them. So when we're talking about anywhere from 10 to 20 calls a night going one way when they could have very well gone the other, well, where do we draw the line at the athlete being allowed to take control over the moment and then having to just, again, sort of have their hands tied because, hey, man, I fucked up 3 calls earlier and you got those right, but you used them all. So you don't get to call me out for this one because you're all out of them. I get to keep fucking up, but you don't get to keep being disciplined. Wow. That's a hell of a spot to be in. So let me guess, the strikes in the 8th inning just don't matter as much as maybe the bases loaded, nobody out at bat in the 1st inning where I get fucked on a 3-1 fastball that was absolutely a ball and I had to challenge it so that I could take my walk and we could score and start that 5-run rally. And now here in the 8th, the team has come back and I just got fucked on a 1-2 slider down and away that was a ball, but I didn't get to challenge it because I wanted to challenge in the 1st inning. That's a tough spot to be in.
I think I'm in the minority here, but I'm in a weird spot where I've accepted that it's coming. It is what it is. I don't want it at all. And I'm not usually the, anti-rule change guy. Like I'm pretty pro all the rule changes that have been implemented. Like the ghost runner never bothered me. The pitch clock, I love it. It's changed my life. I think with the ABS, it's more like I enjoy now, like we don't see umpire ejections. Manager ejections anymore because you can just challenge everything. And now, like, we're not going to see managers get ejected ever because if you can't argue a bad ball or strike call, then like, what is a manager going to blow up about? Like that's part of the theater of baseball. And there is just something that tickles me about one of my guys throwing a pitch 4 inches outside the zone and punching them out. And you're just like laughing because it's like, we got away with one. And I am a masochist and I enjoy the pain that I feel when like I get fucked over on a strike call and it's ball 4 and it's a, like it gives you something to be passionate about. It's like, I like bitching when it comes to sports, and people can deny that all they want, but we all do. We all love to like feel that rush of fire that you feel to defend and take up for your own team. And how are we going to do that if every play is reviewable and I know you want to get the call. I know that I sound crazy right now. You want to get the call right. But as it pertains to balls and strikes, I like when there's fuckery. I do.
Well, I personally, call me old fashioned, but I've been pretty consistent. I just don't like replay, and I don't like that whole thing, mostly because of what you're talking about. I don't think for all the drama that it sucks out of the game, for all it slows it down and bogs down moments of tension, not just in baseball, but in other sports. In fact, worse in other sports, in my opinion. I don't think the number of calls that you supposedly get correct upon review is worth all of the issues, and the idea that I don't think fans are more satisfied as a viewing experience at the end result of that either, because I think you're right. They're ultimately going to look for things to bitch about, and it's either going to be bitching about the replay system or the review system or what's reviewable and what's not reviewable. Or it's going to be bitching about an incorrect call because we don't have a review system in place at all. So I don't know. I know that it's like arguing with ghosts to some degree because it's never going back that direction. We're never going to turn our back on technology like that in sports. But I guess I'm just going to have to wait to see on the ABS stuff, because I would currently lean towards that it's not going to improve my overall viewing experience as a sports fan. And so
it's a good way to put it.
Yeah. And so what am I ultimately getting out of it? But we'll see. I'm not closing my mind on it in either direction.
Yeah. We're kind of up against the clock right now, so I think it's that fucking time, Jake.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Welcome back to Baseball is Dead, Family Feud, Fast Money, episode number 225. I'm your man, Justin Havens. If you are just tuning in, if you skip right to Family Feud, if that's why you tune into Baseball is Dead and are wondering about the controversy from last week, please go back and listen to the very beginning of the podcast. We addressed it in full there. I think it's safe to say everybody is satisfied with the resolution. We're back this week with so I'm excited about this one. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to require a combination of nimbleness of mind, however, but not presenting an impossible path towards victory. There are multiple ways you guys can get this done. There are no 75 or 80 point gimmies though. So it is going to be interesting. Who's going first?
I'll go first. Jared went first last time.
Okay. Jared, take off those headphones and mute that shit.
So disappointed.
All right, Jake, if you could help, I'm also going to keep track, but just as a layer of protection to your ability, if you could help me with the points and the results.
Will do.
Because I don't want to read too slowly for Dallas, because we know.
Can you hear me?
He'll probably file some sort of protest over that alone. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. My cord fell out. Oh, fuck. I don't need this kind of pressure in the morning.
All right. I want you to get yourself into the right headspace. And I want you thinking you're an AL guy. I want you thinking NL just in your head. Okay.
No, fuck.
Just first question. I want your mind right. Okay. Steve Harvey would never say something like this, but you're my friend. So just get your head right. Okay.
All right.
Jake, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Question 1. Which NL team that does not currently possess a wild card spot is the biggest threat if they made it into the playoffs?
Oh, the Padres.
Who is the greatest player of all time?
Babe Ruth.
Who is the most underrated position player in MLB right now?
Most underrated MLB position player? Oh, fuck. I have no idea. Ellie De La Cruz. He's not. No. Yeah.
Who is the hardest pitcher to hit in MVP Baseball 2005?
Kurt Schilling.
What's the best possible World Series matchup this season?
Ooh. Orioles. Fuck. I don't know. Orioles Dodgers. Jesus. Oh, that was terrible. That was terrible.
It was not the best round that you personally have ever had.
No.
Just making sure I've got the right totals here. Just want to make sure I'm not overlooking anything.
Underrated, right? Or underrated. Ellie De La Cruz. Stay hot.
Okay. A mountain to climb.
Hello.
Gerrit, I know you don't like going second.
No.
You got a great path here.
Yeah.
Wide open.
You want the good news or the bad news first? You want good news or bad news?
Bad news.
The bad news is that Dallas didn't get many points. The good news is that you have a chance to be a hero.
That's the good news.
Yeah, he got 43. Is that right, Jake?
That's what I have, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we're looking at...
Can I ask a question before we begin?
We're at 157. Yeah, what's up?
Question for Dallas. Now that you have completed this, were there answers where you're like, oh, fuck, like I should have said this? Like, do you trust that I'll be able to get some of the top answers, or are the questions that hard where I'm like, even I'm going to flub?
The questions are a little Yeah, like you gotta go into your Rolodex.
Oh,
and I was not.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say that 2 of the questions are pretty easy, and 2 of the questions are pretty difficult, and 1's pretty average. That's how I would describe this situation right now.
Okay. All right.
Get NL teams in your mind to start. Okay. Okay. Jake, are you ready? You need 157 points.
Go get him.
All right then.
Wait, hold on. Let me make sure.
We haven't had this type of scenario yet where Dallas fucking flubbed in round 1
bro.
and Gerrit has to get a big total. Let's see. It's all right. We're going to get every possible combination as we play over time. All right. Are we ready, boys?
Yes.
Which NL team that does not currently possess a wild card spot is the biggest threat if they made it into the playoffs?
The Cardinals? I don't know. Is that an answer?
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
an answer. Who is the greatest player of all time?
Willie Mays.
Who is the most underrated position player in MLB right now?
Fuck. Ketel Marte.
Who was the hardest pitcher to hit in MVP Baseball 2005?
Eric Gagne. Tim Wakefield.
We'll take Wakefield. What's the best possible World Series matchup this season?
Phillies and Orioles.
Thank you, sir. Adding stuff up right now.
Am I done?
Yeah, you're done. That's it. That's fine.
I didn't give any double answers for Dallas.
No, you didn't. You did
Wow.
not. That's the first time we've had that too, by the way.
Well,
No
I had
double
to-
answers.
I had to stay on brand with one answer. It was a tee up, but I had to stay on brand.
Okay.
You
All right,
probably
we
said
are going to
like
go
Shea
point by
Langoliers for most underrated player.
point here,
Okay.
or question by question, rather. Okay. Remember, we were starting with 43 points. Jared needs $157. Here we go.
It's been done.
Question number one, which admittedly was pretty hard because it requires immediate recall. But, I'm going to go through a lot of questions as we play this game. Which NL team that does not currently possess a wild card spot is the biggest threat if they made it into the playoffs? Dallas got the number one answer with Padres at 22. So nice call there. It was all downhill for you there.
Yes.
From there, unfortunately.
Yes.
Jared did come through with an answer. It was worth 3 points. The Cardinals. So we need $154
Ollie
over
Marble,
4
baby.
questions.
Ollie Marble in your dreams at night.
Padres 22, Pirates 18, Mets 16, Giants 13, and Reds 11. Those are the teams with double digits. Who is the greatest player of all time? Somehow Barry Bonds was left unanswered by either player here, which I just find absolutely amazing. This is the one you guys are going to have to own as far as I'm concerned. Babe Ruth got Dallas 9 points. That was the third most common answer. Jared came through with the second most common answer, which was, rest in peace, Willie Mays with 27 points. Barry Bonds was number one with 38, and then Shohei with 8. Maybe the most predictable top 4 I've ever seen. That brings you guys down to 127 over the remaining 3. Let's see if they can grind it out. A lot of drama here. Need about 44 per question, or 42, 43 per. Who is the most underrated position player in MLB right now? Dallas had one of those panic situations. Oh fuck. Ellie De La Cruz netted 0 points, perhaps not underrated by a single person in the world.
Rated.
Properly rated, I think. Jared said Ketel Marte. That, in my opinion, is an excellent answer. Huge spread on this question. 4 points. Down to 123. The number one answer, I mean, it was kind of there for you. Seen a lot of social media traction on this gentleman from your neck of the woods. Jaron Duran, the number one overall answer with 15.
I mean, Ketel Marte is like 4th and more in baseball.
Who was the... Hey, 4 points was tied for second. So you can hang your hat on that. Plus, Dallas got 0. Who was the hardest pitcher to hit in MVP baseball 2005? Dallas said Curt Schilling. That got 3 points. Jared said Tim Wakefield. Excellent answer, by the way. Not the number 1 answer, 2, 3, or 4 answer, but it was the number 5 answer.
These people didn't
points.
play MVP baseball. Like, we have a younger, I should have known,
Who was the number 1 answer?
Pedro, number 1 at 34. Randy Johnson, who is, in my opinion, that's who I would have voted for, is Randy. I think Wakefield probably would have been my number 2 choice.
Yeah, like it was either Gagne. It was either Gagne or Wakefield. Like, it's not who is the best pitcher in 2005. It's who's the hardest to hit in that game. And Wakefield and Gagne were fucking impossible.
The 100-mile-an-hour fastball and slider combination from Randy Johnson was just absolutely, it was like as terrifying as it was in real life. Randy was the number 2 with 20. Roger Clemens, who I recall being obviously awesome in that game, but not particularly hard to hit in that sense, was 3rd with 12. The guy who was fucking awesome, who did not get enough credit, was Zach Greinke. That was the first year he was awesome in the game, and he had the eephus curveball, if you remember. He got 1 point. So Wakefield. So we're down to 118. So you need 118 points on this last question.
You got it.
What's the best possible World Series matchup this season? If we're going to be real sticklers about what rules were followed and not followed, Dallas technically might have ran out of time before he gave us an answer. He did get Dodgers Orioles for 9 points. That was the 4th most common answer. Jared with the listen, to Jared's credit, he came through with the 2 biggest scores that you guys got, including this one, Phillies Orioles, 36 points. That was the number 1 overall answer. So you guys came up only 82 points short this week. Number 2 answer was Dodgers Yankees. Number 3 answer was Phillies Yankees. I mean, this answer was actually pretty chalk. I don't think there was a lot of crazy stuff here. So not a win, but we had a great time.
I didn't. So I'm just gonna say this. I would venture to guess that somewhere south of 20% of the people who voted actually played MVP baseball 2005.
I wonder. I think we can do polls in Discord. Maybe we'll throw up a poll and see what percentage.
They'll lie.
Well, you think they'll lie?
Yeah.
You guys, for being such proponents of Discord, certainly have some interesting things to say about these fine folks.
Yeah, Willie Mays not being the number one answer given the circumstances was also horseshit. Because if he didn't pass yesterday or the day before, I would have said Barry. But yeah, I don't think that these people played MVP baseball 2005.
Well, that's quite an accusation to level at somebody. If I'm being,
that is.
I mean, think about it. You'd have to
of
be
all
in
the
your
serious
mid-30s or later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. This is a tough one.
Yeah. It's all right. We'll bounce back. We'll get them next week. Maybe we'll do a really easy one next week. Get your guys' confidence back up. Get it up.
Not happy about it.
Sorry.
I mean, we weren't even close.
Not even close.
No, this was a bloodbath.
Not even close. The Ellie De La Cruz,
that was the sinking ship.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, you could make the case that Ketel Marte was the correct answer to that question.
I think it was a great answer. I'm not no argument.
My beef is not. I'm not disappointed in Dallas and myself. I'm disappointed in the voters or the survey takers.
Seems to be a recurring theme for you guys when you lose. I'm very proud of the voters and disappointed in you guys. So it balances out, I think.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in the voters.
Good luck against Lugo today.
Thank you. Hey, I'm going into Oakland with house money, baby. Series already taken care of. You know what I mean?
You wouldn't want to get 3 straight wins. That would be moving way too quickly. Yeah.
I'm a simple man with simple
You're
requests.
not the Red Sox.
Simple needs.
Going for 6 straight this weekend.
Oh. Well, gentlemen, it was fun. I can't say it was a whole lot of fun, but it was fun.
Fun nonetheless.
Shake it off.
We'll be back next week, Dallas. Don't you worry about it.
That's right. Next week.
Next week. We'll bounce back. We will avenge. All right. Last thing here. Mike Trout's recovery. Not going smoothly. I had this on the rundown yesterday. What did you guys talk about after I left?
Oh, so much, I feel like. We did a lot. We did Mays.
Yeah.
What else do we talk about? Dow stealing my shit.
Yeah.
Trying to remember. I mean, it was a good time. We did how long we do? Jake?
Probably 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, man. It was solid.
Love that.
Clip it off for the Emmy reel.
Yeah. This is from Sam Blum a couple days ago now, but still relevant given the Jayhay video essay on Mike Trout and his legacy and his place in history. Mike Trout spoke to reporters just now. Again, this was on the 18th. He acknowledged that his recovery from meniscus surgery is going slower than he wants. He hasn't started running yet and doesn't have a target timeline to return. Said now it's about finding exercises that progress him and limit soreness. It's getting late quick. Getting late quick.
I mean, I don't mean to be melodramatic, but there's like a depressing or deflating quality to that update too, above and beyond. Like it's not going as quickly as I would like. It just sounds like a guy whose body is betraying him.
Yeah.
And that, any optimism about him putting together full Renaissance type seasons is just, I don't know. I feel like we have moved on from that, but that update to me is exceptionally disappointing. And I just think when you start to get real about where the Angels already are in the standings and what Trout's timeline looked like initially, what Trout's timeline could look like with this new update that it's moving slower than he anticipated, I mean, you just start to, I know I'm getting way ahead of myself, but like you just start to get to a scenario where if he's, let's say he's ready by, or feels like he's on the verge of a return in like a mid-August scenario, like what are you getting at that point? And I know he's not the type of guy who's going to want to like shut it down for a second straight season. Like I know he tried to come back last season and was unsuccessful in doing so ultimately. But I don't know, man. It's such a shame.
I agree. And is this in your mind already a lost season? Like, can he salvage this at all?
I mean, if I see him come back for a meaningful period of time at the end of the season and demonstrate health and good performance, like that might not matter to me, like as a national baseball fan, because kind of, you know, for all intents and purposes, to your point, the story of Mike Trout's 2024 would have been written. But if I'm an Angels fan, I sure as hell want to see him on the field at some point before before the end of the season. I think it would be, it's already upsetting, obviously, but if they don't see Mike Trout on the field producing at some point in this year and are just going into 2025 with, you know, just hopes and dreams again, and Mike Trout's 33 at that point, that's another layer of concern and disappointment. I was optimistic about, like, if not an outright bounce back, then something closer to what we got in 2022 from Mike Trout in this season. And dreams of that are obviously totally in the rearview mirror. And, you know, at this point, the parallels with Griffey are just hard to ignore in terms of what the second half of their careers look like after, you know, almost unimpeachable, you know, first decades or decades plus of their careers.
Yeah, that's fair. It just sucks. I think even now to say like he would start the second half the way that these comments come across sounds overzealous. It feels to me like August is best case scenario right now.
I mean, he says he's not running, right?
He's literally just trying to survive out there. Like it says, he hasn't started running and doesn't have a target timeline to return.
Okay,
like
so
if you have, we're what, next week or the week after is July, and mid-July is the All-Star break. So I feel like if you were going to start the second half, you would have some idea right now that you would be targeting at least that area. And if you have no timeline to return, I think it's also like maybe we're reading too much into the no target timeline to return, because I think maybe internally, maybe in closed circles with the Angels, they have a target timeline to return, but they don't want to put that out there because if they don't meet it, then it's going to be met with disappointment. So they might just be keeping the actual target in-house.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I also think like his comments, whether read or listened to, just don't feel optimistic to me. And they sound maybe appropriately cautious, but after the way that he returned from the calf last year and then ultimately had to, he was trying to be part of the Ohtani push and then obviously had to shut it back down. I'm sure that's in the back of his head. He's also admitted that he's never really had a knee injury before, but he can't run. And we're still in to his own quotes, finding exercises and stretches that don't make me basically hurt the next day. That's the stage that we're in right now. And I've also been fortunate enough, I've never torn anything in my knee that I know of. So like, I don't really have intimate knowledge of this, but that to me feels pretty early in the process. And to your point, it's June 20th. He has no target right now. When's the earliest that a target could be announced? July 1st or something like that. So then we're even talking about, okay, so he needs a month of ramping up. So I don't know, man. It's the Angel season is obviously toast. At this point, it's just about like, what can Trout establish this year that makes anyone optimistic about him or him optimistic about a situation in 2025?
Yeah. Overall, just sucks.
It sucks. It sucks.
But that's all I got on the rundown today. Is there anything on your mind today, Justin Havens? I know that tonight will be the Rickwood Field game, which I'll be tuning in for. It's 7:15 Eastern on Fox. It's the oldest professional ballpark in the United States. Opened in 1910 and was the home of the Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro Leagues from 1924 to 1960. And it's my understanding that they were going to honor Willie Mays at this game, and now it's becoming like a life tribute on top of it all.
I'm sure it'll be extremely, I'm sure it'll be incredibly touching what they will do. Obviously, the connection, just to put a bow on what you said, like Willie Mays got his start with the Birmingham Black Barons. So like this is a pretty intimate situation to the Mays origin story and history and all of that. And it'll be a unique, I know they've done a lot of work, Major League Baseball in conjunction with, I believe they're called the Friends of Rickwood. But much like they did with, the Field of Dreams field, but obviously for a much more, in my opinion, significant purpose and end game, they've put a lot of work and frankly money into renovating this field and getting this ready. So I'm sure it'll be quite a spectacle. And you have two absolutely classic teams in the Giants and Cardinals going head to head in it too.
I just got distracted there because the Chad Finn, he's the media reporter for the Boston Globe, I believe. He just reported our secret project, Jake.
No way.
Chad Finn just tweeted, NESN announced today that it will feature 10 alternate Red Sox telecasts on NESN Plus during the season. It will be called Unobstructed Views, and it will be hosted by me. First one is June 25th.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I'm looking at the schedule, and some of that is a surprise to me. But it's 10 games, and I'm hosting all 10. It's basically like the Red Sox version of a Manning cast. And there are some surprises still. I feel that I'll save the surprises. But yeah, it's out there now. Goddamn, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's got to be cool. Growing up a Red Sox fan, and obviously you've had a lot of moments now with the franchise, but to have an alternate broadcast of Red Sox games, that's a new marker, right?
Yeah, that's pretty
cool.
New
milestone.
Yeah. It's the first ever Red Sox alt cast, and my co-host will be different every time. The first, I think,
cavalcade of stars, I'm sure.
Jonathan Papelbon.
Well, good start.
Yeah, Jonathan Papelbon, I believe, is game 1 and 3, and I think it looks like games 4 through 10 are TBD. Like we've talked about some names, so nothing's set in stone right now. But I know Papelbon is going to be the first one. So yeah, that's some breaking
secrets
news.
out.
Secrets out, man. Goddamn.
Chad Finn,
scooping
classic
me.
Finn. Yep.
Yeah. Well, at least we still have some surprises that we can save for Sunday for Section 10. There's a couple different things that we can break ourselves, hopefully. But
yeah, keep your mitts off these secrets, media reporters.
Yeah.
That's great. Congrats to you, Jake, too. I know you're on the team, so that'll be cool to have games called by Gerrit.
Yep. Big win for the pod.
Big win for the pod. All right. You have any Nuggs today, Justin Havens?
Obviously. I mean, it's a day we're doing a podcast. All right, rapid fire. Here we go. Players with 20 or more homers, 20 or more 20 or more doubles, and 15 or more stolen bases in the first half in the National League in the wild card era. Ohtani hit that mark recently. Acuna last year, Paul Goldschmidt in 2015, Carlos Gonzalez in 2013, Lance Berkman in 2008, Hanley Ramirez in 2008, Alfonso Soriano in 2006, Larry Walker in 97, and Bagwell and Ellis Burks in 1996. Tanner Bybee, I was expecting to see Dallas tweet this one out, but Tanner Bybee joined Corey Kluber and Shane Bieber as the only pitchers in Cleveland franchise history to have consecutive starts with 11 or more strikeouts and 1 or 0 walks. He had a career high 12 last night in probably the best start of his career, at least on the short list. Giancarlo Stanton currently has a pretty unique stat line going on. He has a 301 on base percentage and a 494 slugging. If he can just get it a little bit more extreme, he'd be the third player in the wild card era to have a season with a 500 or better slugging and an on-base percentage below 300, along with Rougned Odor in 2016 and Mike Jacobs in 2008. No Yankees player has ever done it in a qualified season in any era of baseball. What the man some would call the most underrated player in Major League Baseball, Jarren Duran, is the fourth player since integration to have 6 homers, 19 stolen bases, 10 triples, and 20 doubles. It's at least those marks in the first half of the season, along with Jose Reyes in 2008, Phil Bradley in 1987, and Pinson in 1963. Royce Lewis homered again. He's got 8 homers in 13 games. If you go back to last postseason, he's got 12 homers in 19 games. And if you go back part of the way through last regular season, he's got 23 homers in his last 45 games. Unbelievable run that he's on. One of the maybe one of the 5 or 6 best players in Major League Baseball over the last 2 years, if you look at just per at-bat contributions. Seth Lugo, as mentioned on this podcast, starts against Dallas's A's this afternoon. He's looking to become the 5th pitcher in Royals history to have 11 wins through their first 16 starts of a season, along with Jason Vargas in 2017, Kevin Appier in 1995, David Cohn in 94, and Brett Saberhagen in 1987. Ranger Suarez, 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run yesterday. He now has a 1.75 ERA through 15 starts. Here are the National League lefties to have a 1.75 ERA or lower through their first 15 starts in the wild card era. Suarez this year, Hyunjin Ryu in 2019, Clayton Kershaw in 16, Dontrell Willis in 2005, Tom Glavine in 2002, and Randy Johnson in 2000. Ronaldo Lopez, 5 scoreless yesterday, now has a 1.57 ERA through 12 starts. National League right-handed pitchers with a 1.57 ERA or lower through 12 starts in the wild card era. Lopez, Tony Gonsolin in 22, Jacob deGrom, Kevin Gausman, and Brandon Woodruff in 2021. Jacob deGrom in 2018, Ubaldo in 2010, and Edinson Volquez in 2008. Tarek Skubal got knocked around a little bit yesterday during the afternoon by the Braves. He's now allowed 4 runs or more in consecutive starts for the first time since June 12th to the 22nd, 2022. And my man, Stephen Kwan.
What's he up to?
397.
Are you for real?
I am for real.
It was like 380 the other day.
Yeah, he's red hot now. He was at 392 entering yesterday's action. He was at 397 after the game.
Damn.
Oh yeah, baby. That is, you're probably wondering for some context. That is the 6th highest batting average through 45 games in the last 50. He missed some time, obviously, so he's only played 45. But in the last 50 years, behind 1983 Rod Carew, 1990 Lenny Dykstra, 1974 Rod Carew, 2001 Manny Ramirez, and 1996 Roberto Alomar. Luis Arias, Tony Gwynn, Ichiro Suzuki never had a first 45 games of a season hitting 397 or higher like Stephen Kwan has. So I know Arias has gotten his attention for his bat to ball skills and all that, but if we're being real, Stephen Kwan is making a more legitimate run at some pretty crazy numbers than arguably even Arias has.
That's very impressive. I didn't. I mean, I knew he was doing well. I didn't know that he was that.
I think his injury threw people off the scent a little bit because
correct, because he didn't qualify.
Yeah, correct. You're right. And so it's not being tracked, I feel like, in the same way that maybe Arias's little push last year was. But if he keeps it up, then it will be tracked. A guy making a run at 400 would still be so cool. Like a real run. Has a 400-ish batting average, 390 something, 395 in September.
Good for Stephen Kwan. What's his all-star vote total?
Probably not very good.
I don't know. I don't think that can't be true. Weren't we talking about who on the guards has a shit ton of votes that we were talking about last night? Tyler, or not Tyler, fucking Jake. Can't believe I just said Tyler. Tyler's just my go-to information guy.
Naylor is, according to the update from 3 days ago, it looks like Naylor is third at first base. Jimenez is fifth at second. Joe Ram is first at third. And Quan, oh no, you're right. I didn't see this. Quan is fourth among AL outfielders.
There you go.
Behind only Judge, Soto, and Tucker. That's awesome. That's awesome. I know
Guards fans are showing out.
Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts from you, Justin Havens?
Yeah, we got I had this pulled up earlier. We have some pretty good series coming up this weekend, depending on your tastes. I mean, we've got Braves Yankees, including Sale and Rodon starting it off on Friday. That to me is pretty interesting. Have the Royals against the Phillies. I know maybe some shine has come off the defending champs in head-to-head matchups. Yeah, Orioles, Astros, Brewers, Padres, and then the battle for Los Angeles.
Angels, Doyers.
Just kidding about that one. That'd be a bloodbath, but
yeah. All right. Jake's takes.
Just watch out for the Red Sox, man. 5 straight wins, 3 straight series, 2 of them against the Yankees and Phillies. Apparently got a sick new alt cast coming out too. So don't put their season to bed yet.
Yeah. Very excited about that.
I have a real final thought.
Sure.
Ohtani's at 38.5.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so it updated.
Yep. So he was at 38. He's gone from 38.3 to 38.4 to 38.5. So we are creeping there day by day. So
could be Monday.
It could be Monday. It could honestly be over the weekend. It could even be depending on the day. We could be celebrating something tomorrow. But yeah, be on the lookout for some content related to that. And obviously, we could be celebrating the biggest moment of the 2020 season on the next podcast.
Can't wait. Could be the very next episode.
Holy shit.
Could be the very next episode that we're sitting right here. And then all of a sudden, it's been a long time since we heard that music.
It's been so long, man. I've been wanting it so bad.
That's all you get. It's just a little tease. You can't have
We were so spoiled last year. We were so spoiled to get,
yeah.
I forget, it was 7 or 8 guys last year.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
Been so thirsty for a guy. And you know what? No better man to do it first this season or ever. I'm so excited.
I'll wear a suit.
I don't know what I'm going to do. The suit's a great idea, though.
Yeah. If Dallas is on the road, I don't know where the A's are on Monday, but if we all wore suits for Shohei's induction, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll text Dallas, make sure he's on that. Probably does. All of his suits probably are like cut off at the sleeves.
Yeah, mine are too. So.
Well, all right.
All right, everyone, enjoy your weekend of baseball. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I know it was kind of a clunky week with the combine and having to travel twice on 2 pod recording days. So I appreciate you guys bearing with us, as it wasn't exactly a traditional week of Baseball is Dead, but we'll be right back at it with your normal podcast baseball coverage on Monday, maybe with a huge celebration. What a day that will be. And it's coming. See you then.
Just got the chills.